Now recording. Now recording.
GM, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope y'all are having the best day ever. Man, I feel like it's been a couple weeks since I've gotten to join you guys for lunch, so I'm excited to be here. How y'all doing today?
I'm hungry. Does that count?
That counts. It's a feeling.
What you eating for lunch, Willie?
Oh, nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Opium.
I'm actually going to run across the street and come right back, so I'll be AFK for a few moments.
Cool. See you soon. All right. Well, let's dive into this. It's a weekly lunch AMA. Anyone's welcome to ask any questions about anything, and anyone's welcome to chime in with an answer. You can ask questions publicly or in the stage chat. There's an anonymous form. And I'm just looking at it right now, and it looks like we got a question from the anonymous form. Posting it right now. Can we get the short story on what the issues with growth/marketing were/are? All right. So yeah, we bring all these anonymous questions to the table. Would love to open it up to anyone on growth marketing to kind of field this, but who would like to take an attempt at answering this question?
Hey, sorry, I'm out of breath because I take these community lunches as a time to exercise, but I felt like I should address that. I didn't really completely understand the question. Can you repeat it?
Sure. Oh, and love the idea to use these lunches as a workout sesh. The question is, can we get the short story on what the issues with growth/marketing were/are? Pretty open-ended question, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I can only speak from my experience as a recent contributor to the DAO. I joined in early January, and that was under Petecoin, and that was my first introduction to DAO life. I was like, okay, I'm just going with the flow. There wasn't a ton of direction there. It was just sort of like coming from a background of traditional marketing with record labels. It was definitely a different change of pace. Not to mention the different structural, blockers such as, no email list, no analytics, no X, Y, and Z. The excuses and or reasons, infrastructural wise, could probably go on, at least for that initial period. After that, of course, Petecoin left. Slowly getting more access, slowly building out more of a actual framework for how marketing is going to exist. And I think one of the biggest blockers that I noticed was, there really wasn't a system or process, because as we're figuring out, DAO existence, we're also figuring out, okay, how do you market in a decentralized, pseudo anonymous, finance platform where, this is sort of a thing. And I think largely we're taking excellent strides to sort of, correct and refine that. But probably a lot of the roadblocks were, I don't think we were asking the right questions, or, we didn't have the time to, or we didn't have the right people thinking about the right things. So I guess as a generic / maybe not helpful that was, but I don't know. The question felt a little unspecific. So if you have more specifics, I'd be happy to answer that if I can.
I thought that was a great summarized response, H. Payne, of kind of the whole history with growth and marketing since it started at the DAO. And yeah, I guess what would be cool is to hear. I know over the past month, you guys have been making a lot of optimizations and stuff. How would you say things are going today versus like 1 month ago versus 3 months ago? Are we moving in the right direction?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so jazzed. I am. I'm so stoked with all the stuff. It's really felt so freeing, and not freeing, but just it's heart specific and intentional with all the stuff that we're doing. Whereas I think honestly, when I first joined, I was like, oh, marketing, like, hey, like there's like nothing, like what's going on here? And now it's very much like, okay, like these are the steps that we're taking. We have release outlines, for example, right? So we talking more with subject matter experts, talking more with engineering and product, and really working cohesively alongside them to develop really strong informational material and content ideas. One of the most exciting things that I've really enjoyed seeing is there being a lot more cross workstream communication. And I think one of my sort of working theories in the back of my head is when we decentralized, when ShapeShift decentralized, we like took it to a far extreme of like, oh, like everyone's just sort of fucking off doing their own thing in these corners. And I've sort of noticed recently there's been a little, not centralization, but there's been more collaboration, I guess, between the different work streams. And I think that's one of the things that really makes things work a little bit better, at least for marketing. What I've noticed is like we can't just be an isolated unit. It's very much a collaborative work with engineering, with product, with fuck the mods. I mean, like it's very much like a everyone's sort of in the same marketing boat, at least from my perspective. Um, one of the other really cool things we're doing is working on video content. Right, video is one of the biggest consumed, largest consumed, and most engaged with pieces of media that really that people exist with currently. So we have a very interesting YouTube channel currently. We have it's a little disorganized. So getting that up and running, and then also getting access to Instagram, getting access to our newsletter, right? Sorry, email, and being able to post newsletters, being able to send out targeted marketing materials to specific demographics, and utilizing a lot of these media consumption sites through video and through other forms of communication that we really haven't been able to in the past. I don't know. That's sort of my big takeaways from the really cool stuff we have going on. And also, I don't know if you guys have been following, but developing a consumer profile, right? And trying to figure out our product fit, right? Because just as quickly as the crypto space evolves, I think we are also evolving and shape-shifting ourselves. And I think this is definitely a conversation that maybe the whole DAO, as a whole DAO, we should have at some point later on, right? But you're figuring out really like, okay, like who's using our stuff? Who do we want to use our stuff? Like who's using it now? And maybe, with Pendo, I was sort of thinking, and this was maybe a controversial opinion, but, even with Pendo, it's like, are the people who have hundreds of thousands of dollars really going to opt in? And it's like, yeah, probably not, okay, so how do we get more people in that, or maybe have $20 and want to use our Cosmos stuff? And so figuring out how we fit into this large ecosystem that's constantly evolving, constantly growing and shifting. So that's been a very exciting thought experience that I've been sort of leading and doing myself, and I'm expecting to seeing some really awesome collaboration and results from that. Period. I'm done.
That was an awesome update. HPain, thank you so much. Really excited to hear things are going well in the growth work stream. Definitely anecdotally, it feels like things are going well from the outside. And yeah, I think you guys have an awesome work stream, and really appreciate all the efforts you guys have put in over the past month to really optimize everything, and kind of, yeah, reassess things, and really appreciate the increased focus on like product usage and metrics and bottom line. So yeah, really excited to hear y'all's update from the Allfox, and excited for you guys to finally get access to some of these systems that I know you've been handicapped without, and see kind of how this next month goes with growth as well. So yeah, thank you, HPM. Speaking of
I'm
Allfox,
excited to deliver
Yeah.
that. If you guys want to hear on the technical side of things, that Mr. has made some great progress with Pendo, and looks like that we can do this securely and practically, which is great. And I suspect from a user perspective that depending on how we write that copy, that's kind of up to product. I think we get the majority of people to opt into analytics. I don't think it's particularly based on like wallet sizes or anything like that. So I'm super bullish on having this data. Looking forward to having Pendo support.
Agree. That's going to be huge. Really excited to finally start getting some understanding of usage in the new app. Cool. Who's going to be at the Allfox this afternoon? Hope
Engineering
most
will
people.
be.
Sweet. Glad to hear you're going to be there, DeFi.
You're making me update slides and stuff, man.
Yeah, running out of time to update the slides.
Better do that now.
Cool. All right. Any questions from anyone? I can start pulling some questions out. Want to open it up to the community? To you guys.
I don't really have a question. I just wanted to kind of bring up as a part of incubation and governance that we'll be seeing from the Amadeus brothers a proposal to finish some video work from that was shot at ETH Denver. Just want to put it out there. They have a PDF that they put together. I think I'll try to tidy it up and put it into a proposal on their behalf. But they'll just be requesting some funding. Like the additional footage that they gathered while there, the additional events, additional interviews and stuff like that, that was kind of about beyond the contract that they had fulfilled. It's just all it's footage that is gathering dust right now, and the longer we wait, the more relevant, or we lose relevancy on it, right? So I want to get that up soon. So I'm just trying to kind of handhold them through the governance process, and I'll shop it around in the incubation channel. Looks like I think it's 6,500 USD to finish all the editing and stuff like that they've done. So, and it's all marketing material that we can use. So yeah, not a question, just bringing that up.
Thanks for bringing that up, Gravity, and thanks for holding their hand through the governance process. So this is, to be clear, it's for footage that they've already captured, but that we haven't yet paid for them to basically like edit and turn into digestible content.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
this would be for them to edit it. Yeah.
Right. And I was talking to HPN about this, and it could sound like they're holding it hostage for more money, and it's not the case. Like, we agreed for them to do a bunch of things, and they did all of those things, but along the way, things spontaneously popped up, so they shot additional things, they shot additional interviews, and they shot additional events and stuff like that were not included in the contract, which is it's fine. And for the work for them to go back through the footage and edit it and all that, like, none of that is like, they've started on it, but none of that work is being paid for, so they're kind of doing it voluntarily. And they reached this point of like, well, we better make sure that before we get too far on this, that we're actually eventually going to get paid for doing it. So yeah, it's just additional things that popped up at the event that are beyond the stuff that we contracted with them. So
I take it that you saw, Gray, you viewed this footage and see the value in it and stuff, and other people have seen the value, so that's why it makes sense to just pay for it and get it out there.
I've read the descriptions of what they are. It's tricky, right? Because I can't ask them to hand over the footage. I mean, I guess I could ask them to like watermark it. It's a tricky thing. Like, you don't hand over assets before you haven't been paid to do them, right? So it's, interviews with Kent and interviews. I think Rotorless was one, and there's I think there's more ones with more stuff with Willie. All stuff that like we've gone through this process. Like, we hired him to be there. Really, we're just paying. We'd be paying for the additional post-production to just log the footage, edit it together, and hand it over as edited footage. It's definitely worth. It would be a shame for it to just go to waste, right? Like, it's all there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, I just
try to. They do have some details in the. I'll make sure to touch on that. This shouldn't be one of those, well, we've already gotten this far, so we might as well pay them more money kind of thing. Like, I don't want it to come across like that. So definitely want to stress the value of what we'll get through this.
Yeah, even just you saying like interviews with Kent and Willie and Rotorless and other people in the DAO, that probably itself has very good intrinsic value. So I could see how you're looking at it as that and saying, oh yeah, these are community members that had a voice, and we could definitely use it for marketing. So yeah, I think you're probably spot on with that assumption.
In fact, I believe the discussions with Kent are even about like stables and runway, and stuff that's very relevant to right now. So the longer we wait, God forbid we end up going into a bull market, then it won't be relevant anymore. But
maybe they can share like a screen share with you for a couple minutes here and there throughout the entire thing from their screen, so you don't get the quality crap, and at least that way or we'd have to trust your judgment, of course, on how that would look. But.
Right. And at some point, I think we got to have some trust in, like, they've done so, like, we've seen everything that they've shot and edited for us. And I mean, again, I guess when we're talking about community funds, it is important to lock in that value and make sure that we're getting something rather than just saying, well, we should trust them.
That's all I was thinking. You can tell probably in a few seconds that, yeah, this is, and it's roughly okay or something, you know,
Sure.
quality wise. Maybe not the content exactly, but
I think we've seen a decent amount from them so far too, of quality stuff. I think I got to witness a couple of the interviews, so I know there is good content in those interviews, and so yeah, I think that we've asked a lot from them too. They've gone above and beyond and have done a lot of stuff that's been beyond the scope of their work that we paid them for up front. So yeah, I think it's a very fair, reasonable ask from them. I do think it's likely worth it for us to not let that content go to waste and pay the final bit to get it edited. And they've been pretty great and efficient with their editing so far. But yeah, I would love to hear from Growth Workstream. I mean, really, this content's valuable if we put it to work and share it and stuff. Do you guys think that this is valuable content that we will plan on promoting?
Wait, what was the question, Willie? Just jumped in.
Yeah. So do you think it's worth spending, I guess, $6,500 to get these extra assets from the Amadeus team edited, so that we'll do you guys have plans to share them, or would you want to share them? And do you think it'd be worth it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I had a hard time. I would have, like, back, when budgeting was a little bit more loose. I might have probably considered it for coming out of, like, the marketing and growth work stream, because I really did like the videos that they did. But yeah, I directed it towards, like, a proposal just because it is, like, a reasonably high ask, I guess, and didn't really necessarily think it was appropriate to come out of, like, marketing's budget currently. But I would definitely, like, be interested to hear what the community has to say, since I kind of kicked it that way. I like their work, to be honest. But
Yeah, oh, go ahead. I would definitely trust Gray's opinion. Gray knows what to look for in this. He's done a lot of video and he has like good expectations. So I would definitely trust him, in that regard. And also I would trust, like, that he's gotten with marketing and they've kind of figured out some type of roadmap of how they want to, like, utilize these assets going forward. So I put the trust and faith in those decisions that they make.
I'll post the PDF that they made in general. It doesn't align with our governance process, so this is definitely not the what will be submitted. I'll have to kind of work with them to format this to get it a little more aligned with our process, but it at least kind of talks what they'll be doing. All right. I didn't mean to, I just kind of wanted to quickly bring it up as part of the incubation and governance process.
It was a great topic. Thank you for bringing it up. All right. Any other topics or questions? DeFi, I would love to, I don't know if the whole community has heard about the MetaMask Snaps opportunity yet, but can you tell us a little bit about this awesome opportunity that we're considering doubling down on?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got the attention of MetaMask on Twitter and then had a meeting with one of their product managers and developers earlier this week. Basically, MetaMask has in their developer preview this, what they're calling snaps, which is basically plugins for MetaMask. So obviously MetaMask can only do EVM chains at the moment. What these plugins will allow is to request MetaMask to sign transactions for other chains. So with all the work that we have in HD Wallet and all the chains that we support there, our intention basically is to create a ShapeShift snap or plugin for MetaMask that would not only support Bitcoin, but probably Cosmos and Osmosis as the main layer one chains that we support. We currently support Bitcoin, Ether, Cosmos, and Osmosis is very close with a lot of stuff behind feature flags at the moment. But basically this ShapeShift snap would add support for those chains. So We kicked off the ThorChain swapping work this morning, in fact. So MetaMask plans to tentatively go live with this Snap plugin feature around, they've said Q3. So we're trying to kind of understand more about the timeline there. But the intent is if we have ThorChain swapping and a ShapeShift Snap ready to go when MetaMask launches this stuff, and kind of does some marketing with us, we could be the first position to say like, hey, just like go to ShapeShift, use MetaMask that you're already familiar with, and suddenly MetaMask supports all these other chains and swapping without fees. In terms of like what this could mean for us in growth, they have on the order of tens of millions of users. And if we were able to capture even like 1% of those users, we'd be talking like 6 figures of users that we could, that might be likely to hang around ShapeShift and use us with all this like extra utility we can give them. So super exciting stuff. Engineering's on board with the idea. ThorChain work has started, and from the like technical assessment we've done, there's the like all of the HD wallet work that the code that we already have can be leveraged, and the Snap itself doesn't seem like a very big lift. So yeah, potentially a huge one for users, marketing, engineering, just for the DAO really.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like a broken record probably, but I hope we can use like the email list to tell like ShapeShift users, you know, that would be interested in like new features and stuff to like come back. So I'm hopeful that we can maybe like publicize this a little bit with that if engineering can get her done.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of plan. Like my understanding is the foundation's getting access to that stuff at the moment, and they want to do that for like the wallet migration stuff that's been live, but we haven't really marketed sort of thing. So re-engaging, like kind of warming that list back up, and you know, getting them primed and engaged again for when we do something big like this.
Yeah, we've got those emails drafted with growth to basically like follow up with everyone and say, hey, you know, it's been a while because we haven't emailed them for a bit. Kind of give them a quick update on the transition and give a shout out on the migration. I think, or yeah, sorry, we're doing an update email, and then part of it also just lets them know that the emails are being transferred to the foundation, and they can opt out if they want to. And then we've got some some emails ready for the migration, and just reminding users to back up their wallets. So hopefully any day now. I know I do have access to Autopilot right now, and we're getting access to the rest of the accounts any day. So we were just chatting with that on growth this morning. There are some questions around GDPR that we need to get answered. That is not necessarily a blocker. It's a blocker for us to be able to get the workstream in there. But in the meantime, I can go in there into Autopilot and do whatever we need to do there. So yeah, we are at least, if we want to start sending that first email out, we are pretty much unblocked, and we can, as soon as we can find time to get in there, possibly this afternoon or tomorrow, we can get that first email set up.
And thanks for getting that done, man. It's huge. Appreciate it.
Bet. I will say that DeFi, I'm not expecting a ton of native wallet users to migrate until we replace the mobile app, because most of these users are mobile users. They all created the wallet in the mobile app, and I don't think, you know, we can definitely let them know. It doesn't hurt to let them know to come check out the new app. But in terms of like really getting them to migrate, I don't expect a lot of that until we do the redirect. Just a heads up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the data, right?
Once we get Pendo in there, we'll have some data, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see like residual effects too, in terms of like stuff that we can track. Like, see if any old users wake up and we see like affiliate revenues jump in certain places or something.
It'll be nice to send an email out to everybody for sure. Give an update. We definitely might reawaken some people from that for sure. That email list is powerful, and we haven't had access to it since centralization. So really excited to get that email list. That was one of the strongest ways, like conversion tools that we had back at centralized ShapeShift. It's a good list. All right, we just claimed the Foxy token mech rewards for this past week. Looks like we got 2,600 toke worth $11,000. So about to see if Fox buyback and Foxy rewards at him.
Badass, dude. Yeah, what about that? The tokenomics call yesterday. Some pretty cool alpha getting dropped. I don't know if everybody was there, but I'm stoked on what John was talking about. It was a really good conversation.
Yeah, that was sweet. I'm sure some people probably weren't there yesterday. Would anyone like to hear a quick recap of the alpha from John?
Oh yeah.
John, are you available to give us a high level update on the Yieldies? I know you gave a whole presentation yesterday, so it might be tough to squeeze it in.
I bet you his mic's messed up. It always happens when we call him out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we still can't hear you, John.
Yeah, it was the mic. But yeah, I'm stoked on that. Yeah, there's John.
Anybody hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm just finishing walking my friend's dog. Give me like 5 minutes, and then I'm happy to jump in and talk about Yieldies.
Oh yeah, cool.
Sounds good. Enjoy the walk.
Do we have Toasty here? Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about the Meta Factory launch, but I'd rather Toasty be here. I wasn't on that last call with him, but it seems like it's coming close. I'm pretty excited about that launch. The DAO will get a bunch of tokens too, according to like sales volumes and stuff. So
Nice.
that'll be fun. Yeah. Hopefully we get some.
Yeah, I'll definitely buy some.
You got your hoodie today too, by the way, from TDM.
Yeah, got my swag. Anyone else get their swag from TDM?
Yeah, for sure. LPX even said his was coming, so that's pretty cool. International orders are getting hit.
What do you guys think of the whole experience now that once the swag finally got printed, once we got to that first minimum 100 order threshold?
I mean, I'm stoked. I still need to tap in with Steve like this week with Toasty and try to get like some codes, because realistically we paid an invoice and pre-ordered a whole bunch of swag, so we could be doing like promotionals and like stuff like that, and like, you know, making sales, because realistically the DAO paid like $5,100 or so, maybe $5,200 on that invoice. So we do have like an ability to give out merch or like sell merch or whatever the case is there. Definitely something to keep in mind. Realistically, we've got $5,000 to make up probably if we do want to sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. I love the idea of doing some giveaways, and trying to maybe drive app usage and stuff for some swag giveaways. And then now that we've prepaid, people can actually order it and not have to wait till it hits that threshold. It'll just get shipped, and that's revenues for the DAO. So
Time to sling some merch, sling some keep keys and some swag.
yeah, we got to sling some keep keys too. Clock's ticking now for that 6-month agreement, and any keep keys that are sold right now, 50% goes to the DAO, 10% goes to Foxy. So love the idea.
There's Highlander.
Hey guys. Yeah, we can run discount code campaigns too. And anybody that wants to work with me on that, let me know. Most of our budget is going to onboarding. When we get onboarding to actually work on alpha, and we can actually send people that open a keep key and send them to alpha, and they can actually onboard successfully, that would be a great time for us to start pushing campaigning. So yeah, that's our first engineering bounties, is trying to get onboarding working on alpha so that we can get new marketing material for onboarding alpha. That'd be great.
Yeah, let me get with Toasty and try to get some coupon codes or something rolling, some sort of campaign rolling, at least on social, and push that around a little bit and see if we can generate some revenue for the DAO and keep key.
I'm sitting here thinking if what is the least intrusive but most invasive way we can direct people to buy a keep key for every transaction that we run. Because I think everybody that comes to, like, there's an opportunity for every person, like, that they should have a hardware wallet. And,
I think
this is such a good opportunity for us to finally have like a tangible widget to sell for revenue. And I think if we can funnel all those transactions through buying a keep key, I mean, I don't want it to be obnoxious, you know, like people just want to do their trades and they don't want to be pummeled with sales offers and stuff like that. But some sort of funnel would be wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking about this, Willie, in terms of like actual migration. I feel like KeepKey, in terms of like servicing users, like by the foundation, I think that like there should definitely be some sort of like mention of like KeepKey in there, right? And that could actually probably drive sales in and of itself if you mention KeepKey and part of that migration. I don't know what your guys' plans are there though.
For the foundation?
Like to migrate old users with that like series of emails. I don't know if you guys like mention anything about KeepKey in there, but I feel like as an old user, I would definitely like to hear like what's going on in terms of like KeepKey and like everything like as a whole. But yeah, I don't know if you have that in there.
Foundation. So we're really not planning out email campaigns or anything like that. Our hope is definitely that growth and marketing will basically plan these campaigns out. I think that's a great idea for a campaign, and we do have the ability to segment all of the users by which type of wallet they connected. That data is in autopilot. I don't think we're going to have that data going forward in autopilot, but for like all the historical users, we do have that data from legacy ShapeShift. So right now, the email campaign that we drafted was really the native wallet one, because that's the that features out where they can easily migrate to the new app. Plus, we need to remind them all to back up their seed phrase because ShapeShift auth is going away. So that was like the one that the foundation, I guess, was focused on, because we needed that pathway for native wallet users to basically be able to back up their seed phrase indefinitely, even after auth goes away. So that was the one that I guess we did help plan out. But yeah, I think keep targeted emails are great. I think right now, like to Highlander's point too about the onboarding, I mean, we do have onboarding in beta.shapeshift.com, so I think we can push it extra hard once we have onboarding in app.shapeshift.com. But I also think we can push it now, at least just pushing the keep key sales. And I love Gray's idea to have some CTAs in the product. I think that's a great thing for product to brainstorm. Like, where's the best place to really gently nudge people to get a keep key. What you mentioned, coupon codes. Coupon codes are a great way to nudge people to get keep keys. What's on the table, Highlander? Like, and I guess if we do a coupon code, does that it basically just decreases both the DAO and keep keys revenue equally?
Well, it's still revenue if it's a sale that wouldn't have happened if we didn't give them the code, right? So we have a ton of data for 5 years of this, and it does seem like some of our highest months, it like shows a negative of what we lost in the discount, but our gross revenue is generally higher the months that we do a lot of campaigns. So there's a lot of analytics on there. But so I do want to say, we have an email list for KeepKey. So we have over 60,000 emails of a lot of users who have purchased a KeepKey, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of those users are pre-even Axiom, and a lot of them just never migrated into ShapeShift products at all, because the onboarding into between alpha and the desktop client browser extension was always contentious, especially with the KYC. I think that email list is pretty useful to try to onboard those people into alpha, because we're no longer KYC. A lot of those people probably have key keys just sitting around that they haven't used. So yeah, that's 60,000 users that could potentially we could onboard them directly into alpha, which is what I would hope to spend some of our workstream budget on, building an email campaign to try to bring users back into actually using their keep keys. Yeah.
Cool.
There was a idea I had. Sorry, did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna say that sounds badass. I'm definitely hyped on that. It's good to know.
One of the ways that I was thinking you would at least be neutral is you could have almost like a reward stamp. I was thinking like Froyo. You go at Froyo, you do like 10 Froyos, they give you a free one. But you do it for a keep key. Like you do 10 swaps on ShapeShift using our blah blah blah, or like have X amount of dollars moved through us, and then you get a coupon code for 50% off. So that way the net is 0 for us, but the customer gets something back in return. That was just sort of a thought.
Yeah, I think if anybody's migrating a software wallet from legacy into alpha, I'd love to offer them a discounted keep key because that'd be a great time. They're already migrating their seeds and it's already they're in a quasi unsafe place. That would be a great time to give them a code like, hey, I know you need to migrate your software wallet, but maybe you should just move your funds into a keep key. I think that campaign might be interesting. Will it?
I love that. So what's the appetite for these discount codes? Like $10, $20 off? What are we thinking?
I'm definitely down with anything up to 50% off. It's whatever. I just want to do short campaigns and see how many we get. So yeah.
Cool. And we'll have Pendo in there so we can throw in like a 10% off thing and see how many people click it and how many sales we get. We could try a $20 off thing. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Cool.
you could run like a couple different versions of that, just like split test it and see what the numbers look like.
Yeah, my only thing is no open-ended. They got to have an end date. That we still have a lot of open-ended things. We still have a campaign that says if you KYC with ShapeShift, you get a half off keep key, and that's still on our public documentation, and it's driving me crazy. But
Good thing people can't KYC with us at least anymore.
well, it's ambiguous because they can sign up with an account, and so they're coming in to support and claiming it. But anyway, so yeah, whatever we do, I just want to end date on it. That's my only stipulation. So
Once you guys took it over, you could have wiped out all those contracts and deals and stuff. That'd be on you.
oh, we did, and then we just got tons of support tickets saying, "Hey, where's my code isn't working," or "Where's my code?" But no, I'm just talking.
No, it's this. We need to see if we can get access to this old tool that marketing used to use to create these like one-off landing pages. Haven't had access to that, and that's where this page is just floating around, and we don't have the ability to take it down yet. So I feel the Islander, and hopefully we can get access to that very soon. Sweet, well, I'm excited about that. The email thing, I think we're gonna have to chat about that separately. If KeepKey's sending out those emails to the 60,000 users, that's great, and hopefully Growth can work with you guys to like draft those emails. If the foundation's sending it out, or for like transferring those emails to the autopilot, I think we need to like we would need to send them a notification saying, hey, we're transferring these emails to the foundation. Here's an opportunity to opt out. So it's a little complex because of all the GDPR stuff, and we need to be cognizant of that. But I mean, there's definitely a path, especially the easy path is if KeepKey's just sending out the emails yourself and Growth is drafting them. That's really easy.
Yeah, we're going to be setting up a MailChimp and running our own launch campaigns. So any marketing that wants to work with us, we have budget for marketing. So yeah, let me know anybody that wants to help do campaigns with KeepKey emails.
Yeah, I'll try to be closely tied to that. I don't need you guys to like pay me or anything, but yeah, I definitely am interested in talking about that further for sure.
All right, let's
Cool.
ready. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, we want to have a quick convo about Yieldies from yesterday.
Whoop whoop.
Heck yeah.
Cool. So I assume some of you saw the presentation yesterday, but I'm happy to give a little TLDR for those who didn't. And if you want to get more in depth or thorough about it, I recommend going and watching that stream from yesterday, because that was definitely the more thorough explanation. But the kind of TLDR is that since we launched Foxy a few months ago, we had this idea to start working on a V2 of Foxy, improving on some of the things we did in Foxy V1. But more importantly, the kind of main idea around this was that we could kind of create these yield-bearing rebasing assets for really any type of asset, or any type of asset that has a token MAC reactor, at least to start. But over the long term, anything with a yield strategy that can basically be single-sided staked. So Tokenomics put up a bounty for this, and Toshi, the developer on Foxy V1, took it up and has basically already completed the smart contract work for these V2, and that is getting submitted to audit basically now. And we're hoping that within, sometime this summer, we're going to be able to start launching these Yieldies. So there's going to be a governance proposal going up on this. We're going to be talking about these parameters, but the kind of cool idea here is that you can have things like, yield bearing ETH, ETH Yieldy and USDC Yieldy and, ALCX Yieldy or anything that we want to launch, especially that has a tokamak reactor to start. And these all become yield bearing versions of these assets. And the DAO can even set a fee on this. So we're thinking something like 10%, although there were some talks about making it 13.37%, which would be kind of funny. But whatever we end up with, basically, these should fuel DAO revenues that can also be fueled back into Foxy itself. So basically, the more TVL we can lock in these things, the more useful we can make them across DeFi. They will just become, hopefully, just revenue generating machines for the DAO and consistently increase the APR for Foxy stakers, producing more and more revenues and more Fox buybacks. So that's the really kind of short TLDR version of what we're talking about if you weren't there in the meeting yesterday. And it's something I'm personally really excited about. I know some other members of the DAO are pretty excited about. But yeah, there's a lot of cool potential applications that can be built on top of these things. And if we do our job right, they can kind of become a new DeFi primitive that anyone can build on, even without us building anything on them. The easiest application of these is, you get something like ETH or USDC and you just send it to your friend who knows nothing about crypto and say, hey, just watch the number go up. And basically you're helping your friend earn yield without them needing to understand anything about, interacting with a smart contract or staking or unstaking or harvesting yield or compounding or any of these things. So, but, past that, very novel applications might be able to be built on these primitives. And for the DAO, we get to basically just start shipping and growing these yield-bearing assets. So that's the concept. Again, we went into much more detail yesterday in that call, so definitely watch the stream if you're interested. But also happy to discuss further or take any questions or just hear people's opinions on this.
Hey, this is a super cool concept. One of the things that I haven't gotten clear on it yet is, the V2 Foxy, that would then be forked for every new asset that we would want a Yieldy for. It would require a separate smart contract, correct?
Yes, correct, Josh. So yeah, I mean, the good news is this should be as simple as simply swapping out the token contract in the symbol. Yeah. But yes, each one gets their own smart contract deployed.
Yeah, cool. Seems more secure that way too, easier to
absolutely. And there was one of the big problems we solved from V1 to V2, or we're hoping to have solved, is one of the biggest problems was actually generating liquidity for these things. So with Fox, we did that initially with the Fox reserve, which only really works with Fox because the DAO can front that reserve. But in V2, we have a number of different options for liquidity built into these contracts. So one, I mean, we can still set up reserves if if we did one for ALCX, for example, and they wanted to fund their own reserve, we could do that. But we don't need to do reserves anymore. We can plug directly into the curve pools when they exist. So I think in V2, we'll be able to plug directly into the TFox Fox pool, and then we won't even need a Fox reserve, for example. And then on top of that, even more importantly, we're going to be helping generate pools via Elastic Swap so that people don't really need to use the contract to get liquidity. They'll simply be able to swap in and out of these assets just as easily as any other asset. And that also gives us cool opportunity to build cool staking programs, like in partnership with something like Elastic Swap, something we need to talk more with them about, but they've already done this for Foxy. I think that they're probably interested to do this for more because it helps grow their decks. But we can basically create pools for any of these assets we create. So, ETH, USDC, USDC, and we can give cool staking rewards for that. So it also gives a cool first use case. Like the moment you create your ETH, what do you want to do with it? Well, you're already gaining, yield on your ETH. Why not also LP it into the pool and gain even more yield while you gain yield? So it lets us do these kind of yield square things, or yield squared, which is kind of cool.
Really excited for the tick rewards on top of it, and that I think it could really help Elastic swap out. But the cool thing about when you have these rewards, you can almost kind of like get a guaranteed level of adoption to some degree, because if you set the rewards where it's going to be like, okay, at let's say $1 million TVL, there's going to be 100. We're targeting 100% rate. There's probably, like, as long as you're strategic about those, how much rewards you're offering, there's a good chance you're going to hit those targets, because until anyone deposits, those APRs are crazy. So really great way to like bootstrap those initial deposits.
Yeah, and they're super attractive pools too, because there's no there should be no or very minimal impermanent loss. The worst case in the Foxy pools, you end up with a little more Fox and a little less Foxy, or vice versa, and they're all redeemable 1-for-1 for Fox either way, so it really shouldn't matter.
Agreed. I'm optimistic we're gonna acquire some true Degen users for this. Hey, I got a question on the Yieldy thing. So I know we had talked about, so product's about to basically start doing UI UX for, I think there might be an echo from someone's mic. Product's about to start doing the UI UX for adding all these additional Yieldies to the app, and fortunately, it's the same UI UX for Foxy in terms of the flow for depositing and managing your deposit. But we got to figure out, how do we want to display these Yieldy opportunities in the app? I know there have been some mentions yesterday of like a dedicated page for it in the app. That certainly is a possibility. We're chatting about with Beard this morning, and with product, and another option is to not have a dedicated page, but basically have these filters and have the ability to basically like point users directly to the Yieldies. We can have these cards in the Earn tab that would call out Yieldies, and really we could use them in the future for any kind of new opportunity. And we'd be able to like link people to a page that's filtered to just show these Yieldy opportunities, but in one click they could unfilter it and see all the opportunities. And we'd additionally have this like CTA card, and then we're not cluttering up the app with extra pages when we have a path to keep it all in that same Earn tab. But curious to hear your thoughts. I know there was some interest in a dedicated page for it yesterday, and it's certainly a possibility.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I mean, my opinion is, and this is not necessarily the least work path, so it's not 100% necessary. My personal opinion is I would like to see both, kind of. I would like to see it in the DeFi section. So like if you just go to the normal Earn tab, and if we have a filter there, that's great. But I kind of do think that it deserves its own dedicated page. The page could even live outside of the app if we wanted it to. It could be a landing page if we're worried about cluttering up the app. But
we can.
I personally think it may be worthwhile of its own app, because if we get a bunch of people coming to ShapeShift interested in Yieldies, we really want that to be prominent in some way. And like we might want to show the other opportunities too. Like it's not just about depositing and minting your yield bearing ETH. It's about, okay, you did that, now you should go LP on Elastic Swap, or maybe by that point, Rari's back on and we're supporting yield bearing ETH as collateral, and you want to go do that. Like we should be telling people not just about minting them, but what you can do with them afterwards. And to me, that fits better in a page than trying to clutter all of that into DeFi.
My thoughts, John, is we do both. Like you said, I'm against the external page just because the technical lift is actually better than doing it inside the app. We could easily do it like we do with the demo wallet, like have an unauthenticated page. Well, like not authenticated, but like you don't need a wallet to see this section, and then like they can click about, and we could put balances for Yieldies in the demo wallet too. We'd have it show up on the DeFi section. We can have our own dedicated page. All of the like depositing, withdrawings, easy to do. It's exactly the same as Foxy as well. So, and I totally agree. It's kind of like a new core product offering, and it's novel, and we should kind of highlight it accordingly, similar to the like Fox asset page that's in progress and will be probably wrapping up next week. I apologize. I got to run to a one-on-one, but just wanted to give some color to it there.
Yeah, appreciate that. See you later, DeFi. Yeah, I would be cool with something like that too. I do think it deserves more promotion than just a filter, personally. I know the filter might be easier, but I think that we might be underselling it a little bit if we don't really kind of delve into it.
Yeah, real quick.
I think the filter would convert, to be honest. Like just having a filter option, like it would be a really hard conversion in my opinion. Like just out of the gate, like not all users will understand that actual process. I think it would be like a hard user experience, but that's my 2 cents.
For sure. And to be clear, we weren't just gonna like throw the filter there and hope that people find the Yieldies. The idea with the filters is that it's something that we wanted to do anyways, enabling people to basically filter on this earn tab to specific, both like filter by assets, filter by protocol, and filter by the category of single-sided staking or that we have in these, because there's a bunch of different single-sided staking types that will be on the same earn page. So the idea was that we'd do that work with the filters that we wanted to do anyways. And we'd also do this work for cards that would show up kind of at the top. And that's something that we've wanted to do for a while as well, be able to kind of highlight specific opportunities. So we would have a card, a big card for like Yieldies new, explaining it. And there'd be kind of two options. So first of all, users could just click that and then it would filter to show it. Or we would have these filters in the URL routing so that we could have call to actions anywhere we wanted to, including outside the app, that would bring people straight to this page that would just show the Yieldies basically. But then they're in the app and they can see that there is other stuff that they can do here in ShapeShift. It's not just Yieldies. We were talking about a hidden page as well, and I like that idea. And I think one of the things you said about like highlighting all the other things you can do with your Yieldies, I think is a really good argument to still have that dedicated page. The DeFi's point would be a little bit extra lift, but mostly front end stuff for that, and linking out to, at least initially, linking out to external pages. So yeah, I think it's something we can definitely explore on the product side, and give you guys kind of a better understanding of what it would look like in the app with the filters, which is, I think, something we want to do anyways. But then also we can look at what a dedicated page might look like and what the effort would be for that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's up to product. But yeah, my opinion is we should do both basically, and maybe the filters is just how we do it in the DeFi section. But I do really like the idea of like, here's the other things you can do with this. Like, it's like you're introducing them to a new primitive, to like almost a new little ecosystem of assets, and you want to teach them more about it, more than just treat it as like another DeFi opportunity, in my opinion. And if Beard gets a little annoyed with the extra work, tell him that we'll buy him at least a week's worth of chilies.
That'll do it. That's really what we're going for there. This is a long con to get John to offer Beard a week of free chilies. It worked.
Yeah, Grubhub or DoorDash coupons work. That's cool. We can all just like support Beard that way.
Beard will do almost anything for a Chili's gift card.
Does it make sense also that we have this? I don't know how much we're utilizing it currently, but within the accounts page or whatever on the individual asset, like you have like other opportunities, like staking opportunities that kind of show up. Like if you're on ETH or Fox or something, it'll say Foxy isn't one of them yet. But where it basically says you could get a Yieldy on USDC, or you could get a Yieldy on ETH, or you could get a Yieldy on Sushi or something like that, and basically allow them to kind of also go from like the asset page or even the accounts page as an additional like route to get to where you need to go.
Heck yeah, lever your heads at, and we got that right now. Like if you go to any of the asset pages for assets that we have staking opportunities for, you will see that highlighted on the asset page. And so yeah, as soon as we have Yieldies for each of these assets, those will show up as well on the asset page. So lever your heads that never was. Unfortunately, that is one that we don't have to do anymore because we've already done. All right, we got 4 minutes left. Any final thoughts? Oh, I guess one more question on that. So where would you guys see if we assuming we do go the route of adding a dedicated page